What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Copon. It's September 1st, 2025, and this is Lift and Learn episode 140. In this episode, I'll talk about how we need to rotate in our movements or our exercises a little bit more, why that's beneficial, and why undereating is actually holding you back from the best version of yourself. Before that, though, I'll talk a bit about what I've been up to lately, and that might include fitness-related topics, and it might not. If you want to follow me, your host, on Instagram, it's isaiah.copon, and you can also check out my website, isaiahcopon.com. The podcast is on Instagram at Lift and Learn Podcast, on Twitter at Lift and Learn Pod, and also on Facebook. You can just search Lift and Learn Podcast. With that being said, let's get into it. I told y'all I'd be back 2 weeks in a row. Let's just keep the momentum going forward, you know? Like I said, I need to start making time for the podcast these days, so I'm going to find a way to fit this into my schedule, and I did this week. I have a lengthy to-do list for the month of September, so I'm hoping that I can slowly knock off one thing at a time. News and progress on that, I'll keep you posted. Now that my wife will be back to work full-time, I'm going to have a lot of time to kill while I take care of my daughter. Of course, she's priority number one, but I don't want to use that as an excuse to not do what I want to do, or especially where I want the future of my business to go. So we'll see how I can manage these next few weeks if I'm able to handle it all without burning out. So balance is going to be the key there. My daughter is officially just walking around the house everywhere. That's no doubt now. A few weeks ago, she definitely took her first steps. We had some friends over and she walked a few steps with some witnesses. And my daughter continued to work on her walking ability this week, and that's been going well. I think her PR right now is 20, 25 steps in a row. It's kind of crazy to watch it now. She's just been working on it the last 2 weeks, and I don't know, she's like an expert sometimes. At this point, she's pretty consistent with walking just a few steps, and then it's so cute watching her try to regain her balance after a few steps, and then she just keeps chugging along. The best moments of my life right now are when she's walking to me with a big smile on her face. I just won't take that for granted. We let her roam free. Now in the living room, we got her these blocks for her birthday, and they take up pretty much the whole living room now. But that allows my daughter to practice her climbing and all that, and we can morph it into whatever object we need to. Sometimes they're just decoration or set up like stairs or obstacles for her to get around or even over. She loves that thing, so money well spent so far. We love having our afternoons of just sharing berries with each other. She loves them all, like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, just like Dada. We go swimming once a week typically. We'll probably be able to continue that for this month as well, so I'm excited for that. She got to play with some of the children in my family on one of the weekends in August as well, so that was really cool to see that and the way she interacts. I feel like she was vibing off of their energy. Everything's come full circle because I used to play with those same cousins when they were babies too. I mean, I still do participate in their shenanigans from time to time, I won't lie, but it was cool to see them so excited for my daughter as well, and the fact that they were playing with her toys with her just made me so happy. The next generation for our family is here, man. It's crazy to see. If you listened to last week's episode, I did mention that I would talk about my training. I know now, we're in September, but I wanted to talk about the end of July. So I did a Halfrox event that some people at my work dragged me to. So I'll break it down station by station. It was the hardest workout I've done in a very long time. It had me actually contemplating why I'm even doing this solo in the first place. Literally, I was in the middle of the run, one of the runs, and I said out loud, whose idea was it to do this again? Yeah, it was a real eye-opener. I've been saying that for the past few weeks. It was really tough, but it's pushed my training to another level, which I needed. Whatever training I was doing before just was not cutting it. So on this day, we actually did the event in reverse. Plus the runs were outside and it was a really hot day, like mid-30s before the humidity, so like around 90 Fahrenheit, if that's your unit of measurement. So we started off right away, 50 wall balls. Again, it was half of everything. At that point, I was fresh, so I was able to just complete that without too much of a struggle, but right away, I felt my legs on that first like half-kilometer run, and I knew it was going to be a tough hour or so ahead of me. That was my thought process in the first run. And then next up was lunges. Thankfully, that was indoor, but again, that was also very hard. I think I did a good job training it in August, so I'm better at them now. The sled stuff was outdoors and it was on concrete, so that made it like super difficult. And yeah, weather also made it tough for the rower, which is outside too, but I don't think the rower is too difficult of a station anyway. I think during the event I'll just be chilling on that station. Not really worried about completing that. Farmer walks being outside, again, that made it a bit tougher because I didn't have access to any chalk and the weight was like slipping out of my hands, but I did my best. That's something I practice every other day, so I'm constantly working on grip strength. Definitely the hardest part for me will be the burpee broad jumps. I'm going to try to practice those as much as I can, but that will be absolutely grueling during the event for sure. I didn't think I would make it on this day, to be honest. It was really hard. The rower and the ski shouldn't be too bad during the event come October. I think the hardest stations for me will probably be the burpee broad jump, lunges, wall balls at the end, but we'll see. I don't know how hard the sled will be on the day of the event, but those also had my legs like super sluggish afterwards, hence why I need to train harder. So last month or so, I really did push myself. My per kilometer time for like a 5 kilometers, right around 5 minutes if I'm pushing myself. So I'm starting to get faster and those are getting easier. But the compromised running, that's going to be tough. So that means doing the event and then running right after. That's what I've basically been training myself to do. Like right away, as soon as I'm done the sled push, right on the treadmill as fast as I can. Running a kilometer by itself isn't that tough, but after pushing like a 400-pound sled over like 80 meters or whatever it is, that's going to be difficult. Regardless how I do, I'll be proud of the work I put in to even train for an event like this. Every time I tell somebody that I'm doing this, they think I'm crazy. Understandable. Now that there is a goal in mind, though, I'm able to really focus and lock in. I got less than 5 weeks to go now. My training has to be tough or else I'm not going to do well. My diet has to be pretty good too because I'm trying to lean out just a little bit more, but in a week or two I'll reintroduce more carbs again, especially leading up to the event, which is like, 4 or 5 weeks away. I actually know a bunch of people doing the doubles, but I guess I'm the only crazy one to do solo, but it is what it is. Meals wise, I'm actually only having carbs around my training. So before and after, I'll have meals with carbs, but the rest of the day I'm going as carb free as I can. It's not like I'm completely restricting. It's just I don't think about having the carbs. It was tough at first, but I've gotten used to it and continuing to lean down. One of my staple meals right now, pretty simple for anyone to make. I love this right now. High in protein, of course. So you have your chicken breast. I'll use quinoa, spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, avocados, well, just one. And then on top of that, there's tzatziki, hummus, and feta cheese. Super simple, pretty healthy. And it's something that I could have like 4 times a week right now. It's really good. I've gotten quicker at making it and cleaning up after myself too. Cleaning up is the toughest part, I won't lie. If you follow me on Instagram, I did post that on my story like maybe twice this past week. I'm actually down to 160 pounds in weight. I haven't been this lean since like pre-COVID area. So like, I don't know, we're talking like 6 years since I've been this lean. We're just going to lean into it right now. No pun intended. I was 185 on New Year's Day. So big drop in weight and muscle mass is still right around the same as it was when I started the year. So I would say the cut was pretty successful. My body fat percentage dropped almost 10% from the start of the year as well. Even though it doesn't feel like it, I'm at like 18% body fat right now. So I'm really not even that lean, honestly. And going into the comp, I'll add more carbs and should be actually probably around this weight for the comp. I'll probably lose a little bit, but gain a little bit. So I'll be around 160. Honestly, at this weight, I feel great while moving. I'm like lighter. My joints feel great. It'll help me move around during the lunges, burpee broad jumps and all that. So I think it's a smart idea. And the fact that I lost pretty much no muscle, that's great too. That helps. My training, like I said, has gotten better. I'm going to be ready for October. So let's see what I can do. And last thing I want to talk about. Are you seeing these Blue Jays right now? I don't normally watch baseball, but they're exciting to watch, especially now that they have Shane Bieber, who's an absolute stud. They were leading the league at one point, and they're still first in their division right now. There's some holes in their team. Bullpen is not great, but overall solid team. So we'll see if they can keep this up come playoff time. But yeah, they did lose a few games this weekend to Milwaukee. But I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league too. So I guess they did their best. Question 1. Why you need to start doing rotational exercises? First up, I've been talking to clients lately, and for some reason, they've just been getting injured. And I swear it's not under my watch. That's something I never knew when I was first getting into this industry. A lot of people are dealing with pain, and a lot of the time, that's our jobs as personal trainers to help them get rid of it or just improve their quality of life in some way. Obviously, if you believe the problem is serious, you should refer out. Taking care of your body, or actually the way your body moves, becomes more and more important as you age. It's important every single day of your life. As a trainer, I think it's so important that some aspect of your training involves a different plane of motion. Start strengthening movements outside of the typical space, which is usually in front of you. You should be doing movements where you're walking backwards, for example. I mean, it might look stupid doing it on a treadmill, but I think that's a great one that you can do on a pretty low speed. I have my clients with knee issues do this, and it's definitely been a positive response more times than not. Reverse lunges can even be great as opposed to always doing forward walking lunges. In general, people need more work in the posterior chain, so the back of the body. Not only that, taking the lunge to the side is also great and can be pretty challenging, even if you have a decent amount of strength. I know for me, that's one that's difficult, which could be because of my tight hamstrings or hip flexors. You can even try some supported Cossack squats. Those are also pretty tough, especially if you're able to do it without any kind of support. That usually shows me that person can move pretty well and is likely not moving with any serious issues. Lateral sled work can also be great in addition to push and pulling. Experimenting with yoga and Pilates is a good idea, especially if you take the time to actually learn from these classes, because they are low impact exercises focusing on proper movement. All right, I'm a little off topic here, but I want to talk about movement specifically based around rotation, twisting the body. That's what this topic is supposed to be about. This can be so important for everyone to know, not just coaches training their clients. This is exactly why I love doing the pal-off press with clients, with rotation and without, just to work on that rotational and anti-rotational aspect of it all. I love doing that from multiple angles as well. I think that's great when it comes to not only building overall strength, but just real life strength. Strength that we need on a day-to-day basis in addition to the traditional movements. When you're training rotational exercises, you're not just working your abs, but your whole core, so your obliques, lats, low back, the whole belt around your midsection, abs, obliques, TVA, depending on the movement and the way you brace. And yeah, low back as well, which, I mean, in today's world, we need that. Rotation movements are so great for the hip, which can be a big problem area as we age. Again, I'm talking about real life. Like in real life, we have to turn, we have to reach, we have to stabilize all the time. So this is so important when it comes to overall health. Even something pretty simple like walking or running, your torso will naturally rotate a few degrees, and we need to make sure your body is capable of doing that, sometimes in an explosive manner. Now, this is a no-brainer if you're an athlete of some sort. You're missing out on huge explosive power by not practicing some of these movements or incorporating these movements into your daily routine. Pretty much every sport has rotational aspects to it, so you'll need to train that constantly if you want to maximize your skill or ability. But like I said, everyone can use this. As we age, we don't want to lose the ability to turn, so making sure you're doing movements that will help you in real life to continue to be mobile, balanced, less prone to falling. Again, this is critical if you're a senior. This is how our body naturally moves, so it's important. But you need to make sure that you're training for it intentionally so that you can perform better and feel better every single day. Plus, you get the added benefit of protecting yourself from injuries, which will make your quality of life worse to a certain extent. Some movements you can think about implementing would be using resistance bands to do pal-off presses. This is a staple for me, for all of my clients, will sometimes do anti-rotation work and also the pal-off press with the twisting. You can also do cable wood choppers along with landmine rotations, which I think is more of an advanced movement, but I like that one too. I like to also throw in some rotational lunges, side Cossack squats, med ball slams in a lunge position are great, like you're just slamming the floor, or just even lateral tosses against the wall with like a staggered stance could be very efficient, very effective. Love that one when it comes to coaching clients how to rotate using their hips. Pretty much every time you're in the gym, you should be doing some rotational work. Some in the warm up, some during the actual resistance training part of your routine. Think about developing your body as a whole. Remember that your body works together, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. I've seen so many people over the years who can bench press so much weight or max out the machine on lat pull downs or something like that, but you just look at the way they move and they're just so stiff. You've seen those people, like they can't turn. Or you talk to them and they say they're working through multiple injuries, like their low back is stiff, so maybe they'll avoid deadlifts. That's something I typically hear, like the classic, oh, I don't want to hurt my back or injure my back again doing deadlifts, so I'm just going to avoid it completely. Oh my God. Those supporting muscles, supporting the spine on the left and right side are important to work as well. I was just teaching a client the other day some of these movements because she was experiencing pain in her low back down the sides of the spine. Her QL, I think it's called like quadratus lumborum or something. That area, it seemed to be affected. So we did some movements to help loosen them up and also strengthen them as well. The consistency over time should help prevent further flare-ups. That's the goal with the training. The goal should be to improve your core stability as well as prevent injuries. That's a big reason why I think about implementing in rotational movements into my clients' routines. That's exactly why. Maybe we could do some extra arm work or leg or isolate the glutes at the end of the workout, but making time for the rotational movements, I think in the long run will be more beneficial for almost everybody, especially since it's rare to have a hypermobile client that can bend and twist in any direction. Usually, it's the complete opposite, so that's why I'm so adamant about something like this. So if you're not doing it now, start doing it the next time you're in the gym. Think of movements and exercises like being in a lunge and twisting, some resistance bands or cable pal-off press rotations, maybe medicine ball lateral tosses. Those are easy ones that most people can do if you scale the weight accordingly. Question number 2, why undereating is holding you back. A lot of clients I talk to, their first thought is, especially when their main goal is to lose weight, is, I can't cut out carbs. I immediately tell them, you don't have to, but you have to be mindful of how much you're eating. If you undereat for a long time, what happens is you'll plateau with the weight loss, your workouts will suffer. Some people learn this the hard way, but I've been through it and know many people who have as well. Sometimes it's one of those things you just have to go through and experience it for yourself and learn from it. I'm on here trying to give you the best advice, but sometimes experience is the best teacher. Undereating, okay? So continuing on with that, you won't feel good outside of the gym. And that's because your body is lacking essential vitamins and nutrients. This is also where binging might take place, where when you restrict for so long and then those weekends happen, and most people don't realize that the whole weekend can screw up your weight loss goals. And that's something that could be happening every single weekend. Think about it for a second. You're good from Monday to Friday. Yes, ate good, 500 calorie deficit every day. So you're down like 2,000, maybe even 2,500 calories for the week so far. And then the weekend happens. You have lunch with your friends or family. And then, you might as well have some drinks that night. No big deal. You overate one day. Same thing though on Sunday, or something similar on Sunday at least. You're really back to square one. Or at the end of it all, you're actually in a surplus now, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things. Imagine now, you're on point from Monday to Thursday, maybe, and start your wild weekend on Friday. Good luck. This is a big factor as to why people will just starve themselves throughout the week, because they know the weekend will just be eating and eating with some drinks. Undereating during the week is probably the worst thing you can do, because now your body will never be recovered enough to optimize your workouts for the week. For me, I've gained weight and lost weight intentionally a bunch of times in the last decade of my training. One thing that I had to learn for myself is this exact topic. I used to just eat so low calories that, yes, okay, I'd get the results I'd be looking for, kinda, but just felt terrible, lost way too much muscle, which made that end result impossible to maintain unless I continued to severely undereat. I had to learn this the hard way. And that's why I tell all my clients not to do this, even though it's usually the go to strategy for the average person. What happens when you undereat is that you basically slow your metabolism to a halt. So now any mistake, any big meal that's out of the ordinary, which will happen, is going to result in added body fat or weight gain. Take it from somebody who has the discipline to repeat this for over 10 years, to make every meal from scratch, someone who has never installed Uber Eats or DoorDash on their phone. You will make mistakes, and that's okay. It's just about limiting those. I love my sweets. I love sugar. Mistakes will happen, and that's okay. If your metabolism is high, you can enjoy those foods without hating yourself or living in fear that those foods are going to instantly make you fat. You need to make sure that your metabolism is in a healthy place before you start cutting out foods or cutting out carbs or cutting out calories, whatever it is. This gives you the freedom to eat pretty much whatever you want to a certain extent. And this is something that's hard for people to wrap their head around. I have clients where it takes years for this to finally click or set in. Not only does undereating slow your metabolism way down, it also screws up hormones big time, and that's a whole nother complicated mess. When you're not eating enough, your body basically goes into survivor mode and burns less calories on its own because that's the signal you're giving your body. And if you're not eating enough calories, especially lacking in protein, your body will not only lose fat, you'll lose more muscle as well, which again slows your metabolism in the long run. That means less strength, worse performance in the gym, higher risk of injury at all times. Yes, even outside the gym. Also, slower recovery, worse sleep in some cases. It's just not worth it. Food is not only your energy source, it's also how you build your body. It's the foundation for all your bodily functions, working to their best ability. I can't stress that enough. If you're working hard in the gym day in and day out and wondering to yourself, man, why am I not seeing the progress that I want to see? This is usually the missing piece to the puzzle. You're just not taking care of yourself when it comes to the nutrition aspect, and this is going to be the shift that your body needs. So what should you do instead? If you're not in a healthy place with your metabolism, fix that first. I would say when you're eating at least 2,000 calories regularly, as in every day, as a maintenance, probably even closer to 2,500 calories. I mean, this is just a general rule. Then that means you could be ready. That's a good sign. If you're regularly eating 1,200 calories or maybe even 1,400 or 1,500 and want to lose weight, that's just not a good start. There's no room for error. And when you plateau, you're going to be stuck in terms of gym progress and your body composition. So if your metabolism is in a good place, aka you're eating what might feel like a lot of food, that's a good place to be, especially if your weight is not going up. That's what I like to think of as a good place when it comes to your metabolism. Once you get there, I would suggest cutting out 300 to 500 calories and see how your body reacts to that. High protein is ideal when you're cutting calories as well, because it will help you preserve the muscle that you do have. Carbs are not your enemy. They are energy. Think about having quality whole foods and use refeeds if necessary. Cutting carbs too quickly, that can hurt your performance, therefore your gains, and will negatively impact recovery as well. Don't just go straight for supplements. I always try to remind clients to get their protein from whole foods first before going straight to the protein powder. There's a fine line here when it comes to undereating and being in a calorie deficit. Get to a good place first, then cut out a bit of carbs. That would be my suggestion. Don't just cut carbs and calories to start out, because chances are you're just not eating enough, so you need to figure that out first. And that concludes episode 140 of the podcast. Thank you for listening. If you really enjoyed the episode or my podcast as a whole, then please leave a review and comment on iTunes or whatever your choice of podcast platform is. Also, if you haven't already, you should hit that subscribe button because I'll be releasing episodes every Friday. If you want to follow me, your host, I'm Isaiah.Copon on Instagram, and you can also check out my website, isaiahcopon.com. If you want to follow the podcast, you can check out @Lift and Learn Podcast on Instagram, and there's also a Facebook page if you just search Lift and Learn Podcast.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.